creature is a child. I suggest you treat her as such.
A child?
Yes, Captain, a child. Evolving, learning, searching.
Mr. Spock! Can that be one of their crew?
A probe from their vessel, Captain. Plasma energy combination.
Did we just see the beginning of a new life form?
Yes, Captain. We witnessed a birth. Possibly a next step in our evolution.
I wonder.
Well, it's been a long time since I delivered a baby.
William Shatner has reached the age of 94, but just when everyone believed he would take all his secrets to the grave, he unexpectedly revealed a truth about the behind-the-scenes world of Star Trek that left fans everywhere stunned.
Has flair. You get green girls, so how much does it take to get some green paint on you and a fluffy costume and run around and be chased by eager people to...
It was not an old rumor that had circulated for years, but something he had kept silent about for more than half a century. A detail powerful enough to change how audiences view the legendary series and Captain Kirk himself.
This is goodbye.
I think it's about time we got underway ourselves.
Captain, I have orders from Starfleet Command. We're to put back to space dock immediately, to be decommissioned.
I did what you wanted. I stayed away. Why didn't you tell him?
How can you ask me that?
You followed me this far, he'll be back. But from where?
He's intelligent, but not experienced. His pattern indicates two.
The confession was so shocking that many began questioning why Shatner waited until now to speak. Keep watching to see what compelled him to finally break his silence at 94. William Shatner was born in Montreal into a Jewish family with roots in Ukraine and Lithuania. He was exposed to the arts from an early age through community activities. The combination of his family background and a culturally diverse environment shaped his initial awareness of expression and discipline in performance work. William Shatner studied economics at McGill University, but gravitated toward the stage. His experience at the Montreal Children's Theatre strengthened his determination to pursue acting. Stage activities familiarized him with constant practice pressures and the use of body language in a professional theatrical setting. A major shift occurred when William Shatner joined the Stratford Shakespeare Festival. He quickly demonstrated an ability to adapt to classical performance structures. The moment he was assigned to replace Christopher Plummer in Henry V became clear proof of his serious work ethic and capacity to handle urgent demands. Taking on a major role after only a few hours of preparation showed that William Shatner possessed quick learning abilities and stability under high pressure. This accomplishment was recognized by professionals and opened significant opportunities in the entertainment industry. He gradually gained more attention on larger stages. From theater, William Shatner transitioned into television and film. Early roles such as The Howdy Doody Show and The Brothers Karamazov helped him steadily build a presence in Hollywood. Even without central roles, he continued maintaining a habit of preparing carefully for each scene to improve consistency in performance. William Shatner viewed television as a medium that could reach a wider audience. He prioritized roles that portrayed strong and clearly defined characters. This approach gradually created an impression of an actor with a proactive style and a natural tendency for leadership in each project he joined. A significant opportunity emerged when William Shatner was cast as James T. Kirk in Star Trek: The Original Series. The project was an experimental venture for the studio. Audiences were not yet familiar with science fiction storytelling infused with philosophical depth. The role of Captain Kirk nevertheless gave him long-term development potential. William Shatner approached the role with the mindset of a leader bearing responsibility. He focused on agility in action and quick emotional shifts. These qualities made Captain Kirk stand out on screen, creating a balance between strength and the human dimension of a commanding figure. Even as the series frequently faced cancellation threats, William Shatner remained committed to the role. He considered it an opportunity to explore the core structure of a central character in a vast fictional universe. His efforts helped Captain Kirk become the anchor of the entire series, even though ratings were initially modest. During the process of shaping the role, William Shatner noticed a shift in public attention. Leonard Nimoy's growing prominence as Spock introduced a new balance among the characters. This made the working atmosphere more dynamic and contributed to defining the overall environment on set. The attention Spock received placed Captain Kirk in a natural position of comparison. William Shatner worked to maintain the character's appeal by emphasizing key personality traits. The contrast between the two archetypes created a narrative axis that audiences followed closely. From this setting of heightened expectations, the on-set atmosphere began developing unavoidable points of tension. Hidden tensions. William Shatner has often admitted that he rarely watches episodes of Star Trek: The Original Series. Seeing himself on screen makes him uncomfortable. His strong tendency towards self-critique creates distance between his personal perception and public expectations, influencing how he approaches memories of the series. In several interviews, William Shatner emphasized that rewatching old material does not bring a positive feeling. He focuses on acting flaws instead of assessing the work as a whole. This creates internal tension and reflects the subtle pressure he had to manage while portraying Captain Kirk during production. Nichelle Nichols shared with William Shatner that some crew members perceived him as rather cold. This viewpoint gradually spread and affected the working atmosphere. The way he voiced opinions during filming led many to see him as someone inclined toward strong control. Information about William Shatner's ability to intervene in scene structure has been mentioned in many interviews. Some actors stated that he asked for dialogue adjustments to increase Captain Kirk's prominence. This created a sense of imbalance between characters in the eyes of colleagues. The dispute involving TV guide appearances is a typical example of underlying conflict. Leonard Nimoy received favorable attention due to the impact of Spock. William Shatner was said to have used contractual terms to alter this. Such actions raised the level of tension among the key cast members. Gene Roddenberry once sent a letter warning about the selfishness and inflated egos of both William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy. The content emphasized the need to maintain balance within the team. The letter reflected a production environment influenced by internal competition and showed that tensions had become a noticeable issue. Other actors, such as James Doohan, Walter Koenig, and George Takei, also mentioned feeling limited in creative space. They believed most of the spotlight was centered on William Shatner, leaving their efforts less recognized. This created an uneven atmosphere within the acting ensemble. There were no open conflicts on set. The accumulation of small frustrations affected group morale. Each person carried individual expectations, and the heavy attention on Captain Kirk increased the sense of disparity. This became the foundation for disagreements that lasted within fandom culture. William Shatner later admitted he was surprised to learn that colleagues viewed him as distant. He believed work pressure made him focus too intensely on the role, leading to misunderstandings about his attitude. Such concentrated focus unintentionally created gaps in communication and collaboration. Holding the central position in a major series required William Shatner to handle numerous demands from the studio. He became the anchor for maintaining production progress. This pressure affected his interactions with other actors, as scheduling priorities frequently centered on Captain Kirk. Some crew members felt William Shatner placed personal interests above collective benefit. From his perspective, protecting Captain Kirk's image was a direct responsibility. The two different viewpoints created a quiet friction that was difficult to resolve without transparent communication. Tension also arose from his larger volume of dialogue. William Shatner had to memorize more content than supporting actors. This required intense focus, and at times made him less flexible during discussions. The rapid work pace made misunderstandings easier to develop. Disputes extended to events outside the set. In the fan community, the contrast between Captain Kirk and Spock became a recurring topic. This unintentionally increased pressure on both actors when each appearance triggered comparisons in popularity. The quiet competition made it challenging for the group to maintain a unified spirit. No one caused direct conflict. Feelings of being overshadowed or misunderstood became a source of fatigue. The working atmosphere was clearly affected when media attention leaned toward only a few characters. William Shatner gradually understood that colleagues' perceptions were entirely different from his intentions. His effort to maintain Captain Kirk's consistency led him to appear strict in the eyes of those he worked with. This lack of alignment contributed to many later disagreements. The collective tensions were documented in various sources, showing that the issue had a clear structure rather than being tied to a single event. Testimonials from the crew added diverse perspectives, demonstrating that dissatisfaction had emerged early in the production process. William Shatner's later acknowledgement of past issues showed that he recognized how personal ego influenced his work. This openness helped form a more complete understanding of the show's internal culture and reflected the pressure actors faced while working in a competitive environment. As collective tensions became more evident, the relationship between William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy emerged as the most prominent point. Fractured friendship. William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy initially built a relationship considered stable within the cast. They frequently discussed work and offered support to each other during demanding periods. Continuous interaction created a sense of trust and mutual respect. Leonard Nimoy appeared as a colleague with a calm demeanor suitable for the role of Spock. William Shatner found this steadiness helpful in balancing their collaboration. They shared views on professional responsibility and how to handle studio demands, allowing them to maintain a relatively harmonious relationship. Beyond work, William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy had meaningful personal connections. Leonard Nimoy attended William Shatner's wedding to Noreen Kidd and supported him during difficult family moments. This brought their relationship beyond professional boundaries and into emotional connection. As time passed, the prominence of the character Spock increased significantly. Audiences were drawn to Spock's calm presence and minimalist expressions, creating a contrast to Captain Kirk. William Shatner clearly sensed the shift in attention, even as he remained central to the narrative structure. Differences in popularity created a natural sense of comparison between the two characters. William Shatner began noticing an unofficial contrast between the images of Captain Kirk and Spock in the media. This made him more cautious in protecting the position of the character he portrayed. In Boldly Go, William Shatner wrote that he recognized the influence of ego on his behavior during collaboration. He stated that Spock's growing popularity unconsciously pushed him to retain spotlight for Captain Kirk. This level of honesty showed that he viewed the issue through a reflective lens. With time, the relationship between the two started showing signs of stagnation. Small misunderstandings accumulated and created distance. William Shatner made repeated efforts to stay in touch, but noticed that Leonard Nimoy no longer responded as frequently as before. This led him to question what had changed. William Shatner said he sent letters and messages to Leonard Nimoy as his health declined. There was no reply. The silence had a strong emotional effect on William Shatner, making him feel he had lost a relationship once considered extremely important. When Leonard Nimoy passed away, William Shatner did not attend the funeral. The decision stemmed from conflicting work commitments and the family not arranging for him to be present. He expressed regret for not being able to say goodbye in person, intensifying the emotional weight of the estrangement. William Shatner shared that what hurt him most was not any specific conflict, but the loss of a connection that had endured for many years. He viewed this as an example showing that relationships, no matter how strong, can be affected if communication is unclear and misunderstandings remain unresolved. In recent interviews, William Shatner often mentioned Leonard Nimoy with respect. He regarded Spock as a culturally influential figure and emphasized that their friendship once offered meaningful support during difficult periods of his career. William Shatner acknowledged feeling jealousy when Spock became the central attraction. He stated that the emotion was not directed at Leonard Nimoy personally, but was a response to the competitive nature of the entertainment industry. This viewpoint reflected a clear distinction in how he interpreted the conflict. According to William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy always demonstrated professionalism at work. He noted that disagreements did not come from ill intent, but from differences in professional expectations. This perspective helped him evaluate the relationship with objectivity. In the years following Star Trek's conclusion, William Shatner participated in many events with Leonard Nimoy. They often appeared together at fan reunions. These moments showed that a connection still existed, though not entirely free of imbalance. William Shatner shared that the silence before Leonard Nimoy's passing made him reflect deeply on the value of dialogue. He considered it a reminder of the fragility of relationships, particularly when both sides face significant pressure from work and public attention. After the rift with Leonard Nimoy left many regrets, William Shatner faced another conflict that lasted even longer. Reflections at 94. The conflict between William Shatner and George Takei has been mentioned publicly for decades. Many sources noted George Takei's dissatisfaction as he believed his work on set was not given proper attention. This disagreement became the starting point for a long chain of disputes. George Takei stated many times that his scenes were cut or adjusted without adequate explanation. This included the reduction of Sulu's role in the film, directed by William Shatner. The feeling of being undervalued increased for him as time passed. William Shatner said production decisions reflected studio requirements. He denied intentionally limiting George Takei's acting space. The difference in how both sides interpreted information placed them in prolonged misunderstanding without direct communication to resolve it. Tension between the two existed not only on set, but extended to media activities. George Takei made several remarks about William Shatner in interviews. He commented on William Shatner's personality in a direct tone that at times triggered strong reactions in the fan community. One incident that drew significant attention was a video William Shatner posted stating he had not been invited to George Takei's wedding. George Takei responded that an invitation had been sent, but no reply was received. This showed a clear gap in communication between the two. They continued mentioning each other in media with negative undertones. George Takei often described William Shatner as difficult to work with. William Shatner said George Takei intentionally used his name to attract attention. The opposing views made reconciliation difficult. William Shatner expressed confusion over George Takei's ongoing public criticism, even though they had not worked together for a long time. He said they had no personal connection that could justify such intensity. This viewpoint indicated he did not want to continue engaging in conflict. In some interviews, William Shatner denied the existence of an actual feud with George Takei. He said all tension originated from subjective interpretation and no longer related to the present. The way George Takei maintained an opposite stance kept public interest in the dispute alive. George Takei remained consistent when speaking about William Shatner. He said William Shatner frequently requested scene adjustments to increase Captain Kirk's prominence. Even without current impact on his work, George Takei viewed this as a negative experience that could not be erased. Tension resurfaced strongly when William Shatner completed his spaceflight. George Takei made a sarcastic remark, saying it was merely a showy experiment. William Shatner responded that the comment did not come from goodwill, drawing continued public attention to their conflict. William Shatner repeatedly said he did not understand why George Takei continued mentioning him. He believed there was no meaningful interaction that could form a deep relationship. The difference in perspectives showed they no longer shared common ground for reconciliation. Alongside the conflicts, William Shatner shared his reflections on aging. He said continuing arguments no longer held value. His stable health made him feel grateful, especially since he could still attend fan events and appear on stage. William Shatner continued maintaining many public activities. Screenings combined with Q&A sessions, fan reunions, and charitable projects remained part of his schedule. Sustaining this level of activity showed he still possessed clarity and strong engagement ability. In an interview, William Shatner mentioned receiving no income from reruns of Star Trek: The Original Series. He called this a noteworthy reality in television production history. The information attracted public interest in the rights of actors from earlier eras. Audience reactions were largely sympathetic. Many believed William Shatner played a central role and significantly influenced the franchise, but did not receive fair financial compensation. This viewpoint sparked more discussion about early television contracts. William Shatner described his life at 94 with clearer balance. He reduced attention to disputes and focused on personally meaningful activities. This maturity reflected his ability to adapt to long-term pressure from fame and industry relationships. The conflict with George Takei never fully resolved. William Shatner viewed maintaining his career at an advanced age as a key priority. He considered fan support a source that helped him stay positive amid external issues. William Shatner continued participating in charitable work. He used his public image to encourage contributions to support funds. This reflected his effort to balance social responsibility with artistic career, showing deep connection with the community. Fan events helped William Shatner expand interaction with audiences. His consistent appearances showed his health and spirit remained steady. This highlighted the contrast between his present life and the long-standing disputes of the past. At 94, William Shatner focused on positivity and valued personal experience over conflict. His continued public presence showed resilience and adaptability. His reflections offered a rare view of Star Trek's hidden tensions and lasting fractures, revealing the true person behind Captain Kirk. If you want to keep exploring untold truths behind Hollywood legends, subscribe, hit like, leave a comment, and turn on notifications so you do not miss upcoming stories.